Finally, all of these characteristics that I've mentioned, predictability, the formality, the equality, have one more very intangible factor. No rule of law system can prevail over an underlying condition, cultural situation that rejects it. Technically, the kind of strict Islamic law that we've come to hear about in recent years could conform to the rule of law. It could be predictable, knowable, equal in its wording for everyone. And it might still be, might still require special conditions for women. They might be required to wear a burqa, head to toe covering, can't see anything but their eyes. And that law, if it conformed to an underlying cultural system that all the people in that system accepted, would be acceptable. It's possible. Indeed, we keep hearing of cases of Islamic women who like to wear a burqa because they think that's the way they should practice their religious faith. If they all lived in a country that wanted to do that, that would be fine. But could you take that law and put it in the United States? The same law that's predictable, formal, general, equal, try to put it in the United States? I don't think so. The resistance to it would be too great. And we've actually tried this from time to time. At one point in our history, during World War I, there was a decision to make a law that banned the production and sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages as a wartime measure. When the war was over, people said, oh, wow, that was wonderful. We ought to make it all the time. So they passed a constitutional amendment. They pretty much rushed it through, but they did get the requisite two-thirds vote in the House and Senate to propose the amendment, and they did get the requisite three-fourths of the state to approve it. So it became the law of the land, at which point it turned out that a substantial percentage of Americans, probably a majority, wanted to continue to consume alcoholic beverages. The constitutional amendment flew in the face of the underlying cultural reality, and the law could not last. In fact, it was destructive. The period called Prohibition was a period of widespread lawlessness. Police officers believed the law was illegitimate, so they looked the other way when people brought alcohol into their jurisdiction. Once they did that, they were compromised. Once they had taken a bribe or looked the other way, they were open to looking the other way on prostitution and on gambling, and ultimately on gangland murders. So to have something that violates the underlying cultural system is something that erodes the rule of law. It is the hardest of these categories to explain, but it is also one, if you fail to recognize it, dooms the whole system. This principle, these set of principles I set out, will be applied throughout this course from here on out, because I'm going to evaluate American government on how well it conforms to the rule of law, to see how well it measures up to our constitutional democratic principles.